Hello everybody and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is Anton bringing you today's Graham Potter press conference ahead of our game at Chelsea on Monday evening. This, of course, is in association with the good friends over at Knees Up Motherbound, KUMB.com. Get across there, check out the wonderful content. As per usual, we've got a massive game in the London Derby under our belts. Graham Potter travels to Stamford Bridge, of course, after managing Chelsea on the what you could potentially call the poison chalice position of the Premier League. But he was speaking to the mainstream media today, all things about a mixture of the Chelsea game coming up, team news, and something that you might not be aware of is, but again, West Ham are playing on the evening that the transfer window closes, something that has been kind of happening to West Ham as of late over the last couple of seasons and could impact you. So it means that whatever time scale you think West Ham have got in terms of transfers, then reduce that by a day because we'll be playing the game and we are preparing for that game, of course, as well. Now, if you haven't already, go and check out the content we've done today. I've given you a bit of a rant this morning. Earlier on, I came out to you saying that it looks like West Ham are going to try and pursue and bring Evan Ferguson in from Brighton, and of course West Ham just another low ball bid for another player, Feyenoord, American international Pepe. That looks like that's probably not going to happen under Graham Potter's tenure. But what we do and have probably realised is that David Sullivan is the man at the wheel. There's no point in trying to say Tim Stein's at the wheel anymore. It's Tim Sullivan is David Sullivan. It's very obvious because of the low balling that we're doing left, right and centres. And we know that a mixture of Karen Brady has been involved, and it's a bit of a weird mix-up, but hey-ho, we're West Ham, we've got the owners we've got, we know what that means. Anyway, first up was Graham Potter was asked about referees, and it's all to do with the kind of situation that's just came out more recently. Graham Potter actually said that I think it's hard to do anything about what people write on social media. All we can do is support the referees and the job that they do, and as often as possible behave in a good manner. They do a difficult job, but we need them, so we have to support them. And at entry level, we need referees, and I have to be honest, I don't think it would be for me. So we have to respect them, and I think it's a really, really tough thing. Like, I don't know anyone who would want to be a referee. It seems like it's, again, a poison chalice position, but I feel like they've never been given the relevant tools to be able to do the job. And if you feel like the main people who are in charge of, like, you know, the FA, it's got so corporate, the money, the Premier League, you name it, it's just got out of hand now that you can't give the tools, and you're looking through everything with a fine tooth comb and you're trying to find every fault, and the referees are scared to make the judgment call. You've got the VAR system that doesn't necessarily work the right way it should do, and we don't involve the relevant people in the game. So yeah, I get it, and I get that, yeah, they can't take the abuse. It's one of the most ridiculous things, sometimes, the abuse that they get. I'm the one that says, you know, when I'm doing a match day live and I'm screaming at the referee when he makes a wrong decision, and that's just the heat of the moment, but it's the aftermath that people need to be careful how they speak about things. Anyway, the next topic was probably the big topic that we're all interested in, is transfers. And of course, Graham Potter's not going to give too much away, but he said the club and the board and the chairman have been fantastic, wanting to help. It's us wanting to get the right players in. Signing a player is easy. There are so many agents pushing players, but the right one for the right price who fits in the place and the group, it's difficult to find. It's a complicated window, and I've said it a number of times. He was then saying about the transfer window, in every context is different. I'm very happy with the support we've had from the club and the chairman, which, yep, you expect that to be said. But if we find the right player, we'll do something, but I have to do the right thing, because if we get it wrong, it can have an effect. And I don't know, again, and maybe is that a hint that maybe things have been going wrong in terms of West Ham doing the business that we've been doing in the transfer market. If you look at Füllkrug in terms of his age, and I don't think you would ever predicted his injury. That's just an unfortunate situation, but it's just not worked out to the level it has. Danny Ings, not worked out. I mean, you don't need me to go through the whole host and list of players that we have tried and failed with at West Ham. So yeah, it's tough. Being a West Ham fan with the current owners that we've got. I'm not trying to say that bringing any new owner in is going to be the answer to our question, but you just feel like just let the guys do their job, that what they're designed to do. That's the thing that frustrates us the most. The next question is on the impact of deadline day on the Chelsea game, and he said it is what it is. I'm looking forward to the game and closing of the window as well, and I suppose any manager's looking at the benefit of closing the window, but he said it doesn't impact how we prepare for the game, and we'll do everything we can to get ready, and that is rightly so. You know, it's a massive game. Chelsea on form, pushing their way up the table. Potter going back to his old club. We need to keep Cole Palmer at bay, so there's a lot of things that we need to keep make sure we're up and running with in preparation for the game. He was then asked about going back to Chelsea. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been there before. I had some good nights there and I wish them well, but we're looking for the result. Of course, you expect him to say nothing else about that as well. And then he was asked about approaching the Chelsea game, how he would do that tactically. He said they're a very tactically aware team, and he said, I think Enzo has done well in terms of stabilising the squad and making everything make sense. It's a tough game. They're competing for the Champions League, so we have to go there with optimism and courage and try and pick up a result. And I think I have seen definite changes in the West Ham setup. A couple of decisions. Listen, we're struck with the team we've got, lack of strength and depth. And that's been noticeable, but there's been definitely elements, in particular the second half against Aston Villa, I could see as a positive. So fingers crossed we can do something. It's going to be a tough ask, but if we have any returning players, all that sort of stuff, then we're going to have to utilise it. But between now and that Monday, there's several days to try and get some business done. And if we can bring someone in, can make an instant impact, you never know. What was it, nearly 4 years to the day since we brought Jesse Lingard in? Who remembers that name? Don't fall in love with a lone player, they say. The next question was what he's learnt so far. And he said it's the end of a 3-game week against Palace, who were an in-team form. We weren't at the level that we should have been at, but you almost have to zoom out of that and look at the things wider, and the group have been great. They want to do better than they've been doing, and we have to help them to do that. The response has been good, and they bounced back well against Aston Villa, and we have to take that step forward again into the Chelsea game. And I fully expect everything he's saying, and we do. We need to take that momentum of that second half and the chances we had to be able to implement them into this game against Chelsea. And he said, what about implementing your ideas? That was another question. He said, I spoke about the team being a foundation and how we attack and defend. There are good players here and ambition, and we know that there are. And it's about going in the right direction collectively, and that's something I don't think we see. We have a step-by-step get there, and there's lots that goes into that. The steps have been positive for me so far, and I do think there is a step-by-step process, but we do know we have the stars, we do know we have the players and the ability and the team and the ambition to be able to push on, but we haven't been doing it for such a long time. But long may the progress and step-by-step process continue. Fingers crossed. Again, talking about his time at Chelsea, he said, I've met some of the Chelsea fans. They've been supportive. The results weren't ideal, but I could never be critical of them. I'm thankful for the time I had there because it brought me here. We'll go there, and hopefully it's a good game. Of course, we hope for the win. And the next one he was asked and spoken to about was identifying players. He said the challenge is in identifying players who are available now, who can come in, we can afford, and there's more. It's very difficult. I believe in our daily work, our team in the club, and I think the fans want a team who are going in the same direction. Therefore, I want to make sure we're bringing in players who buy into that and who we can use in the right way. So I like that messaging because he's given us a clear message of identifying a player that he exactly wants. So the confidence I have, even though we're hearing stuff like David Sullivan's in at negotiations, all that sort of stuff. Maybe that's a caveat that Graham Potter has agreed to. Maybe that's, listen, identify the player and I'll go and do the deals. But maybe what Graham Potter may not realise is that David Sullivan is not great at doing these deals. So let's hope that something can change in that department as well. He's asked about what the fans' thoughts are. He said, I think the fans want to be focused on the group we have to work with the team, and if we have someone to sign, we'll let them know. I feel for the supporters with all the links, it's noise of football, and my stance is I don't want to speak about players who aren't West Ham players, and that's really key because, again, we have a responsibility to report relevant things that come out, and is there any element or truth in that as such. So just be careful what you are listening to in terms of news, because it chops and changes daily, 100%. So that brings an end to the press conference against Chelsea. Again, they go into the embargoed section. We'll probably find out some more information on potential anyone that's picking up injuries, anyone and returning back. What we do know is Mavropanos will be back. He served his 1 match suspension. I'm not sure that's a great thing, to be honest with you, but we'll have to wait and see. Tadebo's probably a few weeks out as well, and we've still got a few days left of the transfer window, so things could change if there's a player that can come in and make an instant impact into that team. But just stay positive, stay on the ball, and yeah, fingers crossed we can progress, get some points against Chelsea, bring in a couple of players that definitely will add some value and strength and depth to the West Ham setup. To be honest with you, as long as Evan Ferguson keeps fit, then I think it's a very good player to bring in. Republic of Ireland international, Premier League experience, scores goals, big, solid, agile lad that can do us a job. Big style, fingers crossed if he does, if we do bring him in. Yeah, we'll wait and see. Take it easy. Come on, you Irons. And make sure you go check out kumb.com. Come on, you Irons.